Rebecca Fleischaker. I'm Executive Director of Louisville Downtown Partnership. I didn't even have to do anything. It is amazing to see so many familiar faces and new ones. Thank you for spending some time with us in downtown. We are Louisville Downtown Partnership. We are the only organization solely dedicated to the economic health, growth, and vitality of Louisville's downtown. And today, we are here to tell you how downtown is doing and to unveil the 2024 Downtown Strategy with you, which is a 10-year vision for what we want downtown to look and feel like. And we got a lot of input from you guys over the last year for that. Before we get into our program, I want to thank our sponsors. We simply could not be here and have this beautiful setting without them. So thank you to our champion sponsors, Angels Envy, Churchill Downs, Fifth Third Bank, and Stockyards Bank. Let's give them a round of applause. And I also want to recognize Splendid Events and Marriott Hotel for putting on this wonderful spread and room. Thank you. And a big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Republic Bank Foundation. Please help me welcome Republic Bank CEO Logan Pichel to say a few words and help kick off the program. Logan.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you all for being here. It's an honor to be the presenting sponsor. 42 years ago, when the Traeger family started Republic Bank, we started it with a little trailer on Bardstown Road, but the Traeger family knew being in downtown Louisville was important. So a few short years after the start of the bank, they built the Republic Bank Center on 6th and Market, and that's been the headquarters of Republic Bank for the last 37 years. 15 years ago, thank you. 15 years ago, we enhanced our commitment to downtown Louisville by buying the old legal aid building on 7th and Market. It's now the Republic Plaza. It looks like the Miami Vice building, you know, with the yellow and green colors. And then we furthered our commitment in the last year, and we moved 120 associates from the suburbs to downtown Louisville in the last year. Invested over $2 million in that Republic Bank Plaza. We talked a lot about that initiative at Republic Bank in the last year, and as you all know in this room, look, for an initiative to be successful, you have to have alignment and action. Well, there's 100% alignment at the bank. We need to have a vibrant downtown. We need to support it. And so the action for all of us at Republic Bank is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do business-wise, and what are we going to do personally to support downtown Louisville? And that was one of the items, was let's invest in downtown and bring more associates downtown. I think there's 100% alignment in this room. We all want a robust downtown Louisville. And so I'd ask you all, from an action perspective, what are we going to do business-wise, and what are we going to do personally to support downtown Louisville? I know you all will. Thank you.
Thank you, Logan. What a great testament to why being in downtown is so good for not only Republic Bank, but for the entire community. I've been in this job for a little over 2 years, and when I started, I wrote a guest opinion piece in the Courier-Journal outlining 3 of my goals to talk about why I wanted to raise awareness and raise the importance of downtown. They're still very true today and still drive most of what our organization does every day. Number 1, we need to take care of the basics, improve our infrastructure, our existing infrastructure, and create some new interesting and attractive places that make you want to come downtown. Number 2, develop more residential opportunities. We need more people walking around downtown at all hours of the day. You can always clap out loud, Barbara, it's fine. Which attracts and supports more business and attractions, driving a much more vibrant downtown. And you all have heard me say it before, we need more optimism. More belief in ourselves, more positivity about why you choose to live in an authentic, cool city with lots to offer. I love to say that everything is economic development. And those 3 things I just named definitely inure to economic development for the whole city. In downtown, it means a healthy business environment, a healthy tourist environment, and a healthy residential environment. The 3 legs of the stool of a healthy downtown. Economic development is the long game. It requires putting the building blocks down one project at a time, 1 year at a time, that helps make new projects possible. And of course, it requires some patience. In other words, if it weren't for earlier investments, what you have more recently seen in downtown just wouldn't be able to take place. You're looking at a photo from 1996. Slugger Field had just broken ground. You still see the Brinley Hardy train shed there. Waterfront Development Corporation had been created 10 years earlier, but it was just in 1992 that they broke ground. So it really is building blocks along the way. Let's take a look at the history of investment in downtown since 1990. New projects that follow previous foundational investments, which paved the way for different ways of thinking about the built environment and the ways that we want to get around, and following usually an iteration of a downtown strategy and what we've envisioned for our downtown. Seeing those blocks fill in with color, it's pretty cool. And we're not done. Things just don't happen quickly, especially when coming out of a pandemic where everyone went home for a year and where downtown was the center of a really important reckoning for social justice. So my biggest message today, in case you need to leave early, is that there is a lot of momentum and a lot to be proud of. Yes, there's work to do, but let's believe in ourselves and our city and together keep building a healthy downtown. And someone who reminds us of that healthy downtown and all the tremendous assets that we have is our mayor, Mayor Greenberg. In his first budget, he put money towards that first goal of mine, helping to improve and fix our aged infrastructure. It's been my privilege of working with him and his administration. He's been a solid and very vocal champion of downtown, starting with the work of his transition team a year and a half ago before he even took office. And it's been clear to me that he wants a world-class, cool, healthy downtown. So let's hear it in his own words, to tell you why downtown is so important to our entire city. Please help me welcome Mayor Craig Greenberg. And I love the t-shirt.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here today, joined by so many people that just reflect what Rebecca accurately said is my enthusiasm for downtown, my enthusiasm so much that I am wearing it literally on my shirt today. It's great to be joined by President of Metro Council, Marcus Winkler, who is also a champion for downtown, along with other colleagues on Metro Council. Several deputy mayors are with us here today. Jay, thanks to you and Rebecca and everyone at Louisville Downtown Partnership for what you all are doing as champions of downtown today and in the future. Downtown is the most important neighborhood in our entire city. It's the one neighborhood that truly connects us all, where everyone, regardless of whether you live in the west, the south, the east, the center of the city, it's a place where you can come to have fun, to explore, to work, to see athletic and cultural and entertainment events. There is so much for everyone in downtown Louisville. It is truly the glue that connects us all. And that's why, for me, it is so important. My vision, put simply, for downtown Louisville is that downtown Louisville is nothing less than the most vibrant, cleanest, greenest, most unique, authentic, energetic, and safest neighborhood in our entire city. That's what we all want in this room. That's what everyone in Louisville deserves for their downtown. And as Rebecca said, we have to deal with reality. And we all know and acknowledge that things are different now than they were several years ago. 2020 was a very tough year for downtown. It was a tough year for people who lived, who worked downtown. It was a tough year for everyone in our city, in our entire country, and really in the world. We all learned from things that happened in 2020, and I know that none of us in this room will ever forget it. That's our past. We need to build upon our past, remember our past, but move forward into the future. And so my administration's focus is on today, and even more importantly, on creating the future of downtown and creating the future of our city. So I thought I would just share a little bit about what we've done so far and what we want to do to help create the downtown of our future. So here's a little bit of what that looks like. First, as Rebecca mentioned, in our first budget that we proposed to Metro Council, which had the support of President Winkler and all 26 Metro Council members, we focused on the infrastructure of downtown, investing in the basic needs like new and better garbage cans and streetlights, LED lights to take a barrier of I-65 that sort of was a barrier between Nulu and the Central Business District and connect them together with great new LED lights that you'll see start going up here in a matter of weeks or days. Weeks. We have new ambassadors. We should give it up for all of our ambassadors that you see around downtown in their orange shirts who are doing an amazing job. And we made a significant investment in the beginnings of the Community Care Campus, which is going to be an innovative national model, one of the ways that we address our homeless challenges that we're dealing with in our city. It is my belief, it is our administration's belief that we need to ensure that everyone has safe and healthy streets. And I think that we can all agree that if you're living on the streets right now, that is not safe or healthy for that individual, and we should do everything we can to provide those individuals with help and support to get them on a new path in life. And similarly, for everyone who is not homeless, they also have the expectation of safe and healthy streets to go about their daily life. We are working on both of those actively at this moment. So that was a big priority of our last budget that we're implementing now. Downtown is also one of our key focuses. We're working with our friends and partners in the General Assembly as they wrap up their session and are in conference committee right now, debating the future of the state's budget. We got great news last week that the state Senate's budget included a $100 million investment for projects in downtown Louisville. This has the potential to be transformational for our city, a huge win. We are continuing advocating on a daily basis to make sure that those investments stay in the final budget that's passed by the city, if not go up, as well as advocating for other investments around our entire city. But we will use those funds, if they actually materialize, as we hope they do, to partner them, to leverage those with additional investments from metro government, with federal funds, with private funds, with philanthropic funds, with corporate funds, to truly accelerate the transformation of downtown. That is what we can do. That is what we must do. And with this record-breaking investment from the state in downtown Louisville, that is what we can do. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen very soon. Because what the state is recognizing is what we all know, is that what happens right here, in this ballroom, in this hotel at the Marriott, in every hotel in downtown Louisville, in every office building, in every restaurant, in every entertainment and cultural venue, what happens in downtown Louisville is good for our entire city, and what's good for our entire city is good for the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. People from all around Kentucky, from all around the region, country, and world enjoy what's going on in downtown Louisville. And if Louisville is, as I know and believe it is, the economic engine of our state, well, downtown Louisville is the economic engine of our city. So we are going to take this money and we are going to invest it in things that are going to provide amazing returns on investment for our entire city and state. Here's a snapshot of a few of the things that will either use state or other funds to make happen in the coming years ahead. First, one of the projects you saw there, that was a great picture, by the way, Rebecca, to look back not too long ago, just 30 years ago. The Belvedere this year turns 50. The Belvedere was an amazing, innovative project when it was completed. But I think we all know that it has seen better days. It's active about 7 days a year is when it's really active. But that unique location, overlooking the history of our city where it all began, the Falls of the Ohio, right there at Main and 4th Street, at the heart of our downtown, we have the opportunity to create a world-class destination unlike anywhere else, not just in Louisville, but unlike anywhere else in the country. And so we've already begun working on that process. We've engaged an internationally recognized design firm, Heatherwick, working with local partners at K. Norman Berry and Associates that are working on creating not just a destination for everyone in Louisville in this country, but a symbol of what Louisville really is, what we know Louisville is, and what we want the world to see us as. And so I cannot wait in the coming weeks to share these plans with the community to make that transformation a reality. 4th Street, another area, another street that is so important to our history, You can see the bustling activity that has happened and still happens on 4th Street. But we want to create that central spine throughout downtown, that wherever you are downtown Louisville, you can just say, go to 4th Street and that's where you want to be. It can take you to the river. It can take you to anywhere else. So again, we've already started, thanks to the generosity of the James Graham Brown Foundation and others, we've engaged another amazing design firm, Melk, who is working right now on the initial stages of a new 4th Street master plan that we're also very excited to share in the coming weeks. And 9th Street, another critically important street, a street that is far too long served as a physical barrier between downtown and West Louisville, a barrier that has created so many hardships for the 9 neighborhoods of West Louisville. Thanks to funding from the federal government, we now have the funding necessary to reimagine 9th Street, to actually do the construction work from the highway all the way south to Broadway. And so we are finalizing the plans on that right now. But our goal in that is not just to make it a new paved street for cars to get off the highway and drive somewhere, but to truly make it a connector. The days of barriers between neighborhoods are over in this city. We want to connect neighborhoods, connect people who feel like they have been left out, who've been excluded. We want the West Louisville and downtown Louisville to all be part of one Louisville. And as we reimagine 9th Street, we can and will do that. And there are so many other great projects going on. The Waterfront Park West expansion. We have great plans to convert and revitalize Louisville Gardens. The parking lots around the soccer stadium are just ripe to be part of our downtown environment with a new mixed-use development. We have an amazing new developer that just moved back, amazing new executive, a woman named Elizabeth Strojan, who just moved back home to become the executive director of LMHA. We don't talk about it a lot, but LMHA is a big part of downtown's future, with some of our aging legacy projects like Dosker Manor and Avenue Plaza that are right here in the heart of our city. We must do better for the residents of Dosker Manor and Avenue Plaza and all of LMHA, and at the same time, we must integrate those residents into downtown as well. There are also other properties that the city owns that are just vacant parking lots. We need to build great mixed-use projects on those parking lots as well. And so earlier this year, we did an RFP process, and we now have 3 great local development teams that are working to transform those parking lots and 1 historic building into amazing new mixed-use developments. That's the lot right there on the east side of 9th Street, right behind City Hall, and the old Museum Plaza property that I myself tried to develop 15 years ago, and I'm hoping second time's a charm. And finally, we must do more to convert our existing inventory of historic buildings. We have an amazing, great inventory of historic buildings, buildings that some of you may have worked in the past, buildings that are architectural icons, buildings that can and must be part of the future of downtown, remembering the greatness of our history, but that have been reimagined and repurposed for today and tomorrow as residential units, as hotels, as whatever people can dream up. And so part of our ask to the state is to help us convert these vacant units that need a little bit of help to get over the financing finish line to become a reality. We can do all of this. We will do all of this because we have to do all of this. And we will continue to focus on the basics, as Rebecca talked about. We will continue to support the hardworking men and women of LMPD that are working hard every day to ensure our downtown is safe. We are on the verge of hopefully passing a new contract for our police officers, one that will help us do a better job of recruiting and retaining the 200 plus additional men and women we need to be a part of LMPD, so that there is a greater presence that can help us work to prevent crime from happening in the first place. Major Lauder, thank you so much to you and all of your colleagues on LMPD for what you all do every day. And finally, I want to give a big thanks to all of you and everyone who has already made the commitment to downtown Louisville. Folks like Republic Bank, as you heard from Logan, companies like Baird, companies like Stockyards Bank, and so many others that have been committed to downtown Louisville for years, and even during these challenging times, have not only remained committed to downtown Louisville, but have even made further investments. Thank you for that commitment. Thank you for that support. It is that commitment that we are able to do all of these other things, to build upon, to truly create the downtown Louisville that most of us have not even imagined yet, but that every one of us in this room, that every one of us across the city and state deserve, to show the entire world who we are in Louisville, what we want to be, and where we're going. I am so excited about the future of downtown Louisville. I am so excited about our entire city, and I look forward to working with all of you as we work to make downtown a safer, stronger, and healthier neighborhood, which is part of our amazing city that we all call home. Thank you all very much for what you do every day.
Thank you, Mayor. Really could not ask for a bigger cheerleader for downtown. Thank you so much. And if you want a t-shirt, you can come see me after this event. So here we are, 4 years after the onset of COVID, and I'm happy to tell you that the state of downtown is strong. We've been doing an economic impact report for 3 years now. You have a copy of that at your place, hot off the presses, on your tables. We know that since 2021, property values are up, tourism numbers are up, events are up, and investment is up. In fact, there is $1.5 billion of investment either announced or underway right now, which is double that number from 2019, the year we keep holding ourselves up to. It is time to stop comparing. The annual numbers are shown through maps in the report that you have, but to look at the totals here shows us amazing confidence in downtown. $768 million in total investment in 2019 compared to that $1.5 billion of total investment in 2023 just shows tremendous belief and activity in downtown. These account for large public infrastructure projects, housing, hotels, and attractions. And this tells us that there are a whole lot of people who are willing to bet on downtown, who know its importance and relevance to the entire region, and they're willing to risk their dollars and time because they know it'll pay off. And I know there are several of you in this room who have made these investments, so I say thank you. It may come as a surprise that we're looking better than that bellwether year, because what we hear more of is the bad news. And sometimes we believe it. But remember one of my goals: we have so much to believe in about ourselves. This week, it just so happens, was the vernal equinox, the day that the Earth's axis is tilted neither toward the sun nor away from the sun. Stick with me here. This is science. So that there is nearly an equal amount of light and dark. And today we've passed that halfway point between the shortest day of the year and the longest day of the year, which means the day is a little longer, and we do have more light than yesterday. And I mention this, even though you probably had to wear a coat this morning, because it's the same for me every spring. I always feel hope and optimism, and the residents of our city need that optimism now. And this is not just being woo-woo. Spring is a big deal. Cultures around the world celebrate the longer days of light and new spring in various ways every year. Right here in Louisville, apparently we do it with goat races just down the street. Bachfest actually is this Saturday, so join me. Let's celebrate the equinox and optimism. We are all here because we believe in our downtown. And I guess if you don't, at least you're curious, so thank you for being here. Last year in 2023, we saw $226 million of completed investment in new projects, such as Hotel Genevieve, Derby City Gaming, and the completion of the renovation at 500 West Jefferson. And 36, over 30, new street-level businesses opened in downtown, such as Bourbon and Blush Spa, Nick and Norman's, and Number 15, both on Whiskey Row, Parlor and Spinelli's Pizza, and Country Boy Brewing in the Omni. And we're looking toward another great year in 2024. Already this year, The Misfit, I Love Tacos, Paxton's Men Clothing, and Gin Doshirok have already opened. And we're waiting with anticipation for a new steak and bourbon, the Canopy by Hilton Hotel, and a handful of new bourbon experiences, which will, by the end of this year, get us to 15 distilleries and tasting rooms in downtown. 10 years ago, we had zero. The most visible change you may have noticed over the last year, as the mayor said, is more orange on the street. We've doubled the number of our downtown ambassadors, going from 18 to 36, including a late-night safety team. And I want to thank the mayor and Metro and President Winkler, thank you, and Louisville Tourism and Humana for their generous donations to help make that possible. Where we used to have staff coverage from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. only 3 days a week, 7 to 7 the other 4, we now have ambassadors on the street 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. And you guys have noticed we get a lot of emails of appreciation from tourists and locals, so thank you. These graphs show a little bit of the activity that our ambassadors did pre-COVID and then the last 2 years. Good news is instances of graffiti and litter actually went down, but I wanted to highlight their interactions with the public, which tripled with over 25,000 touches during the course of 2023. And I want to call out Block by Block, who's in the room here, who we contract with, and for our ambassadors who are headquartered in downtown Louisville, who actually work in 125 cities around the country. It's a big deal. We also are keeping an eye on who is downtown and how often. Using Placer AI, a software platform showing foot traffic through anonymized cell phone data, so I don't actually know who is coming downtown, we're able to see some interesting information. The first is annual visits downtown. This shows annual totals of residents, employees, and visitors, and counts repeat visits for being downtown. So like a lot of us, we work downtown, and then we come back for dinner, a show, a concert, a ball game. And I think this pattern is what we might expect post-COVID. 45.8 million visits in 2019, and not quite back in all groups of people in 2023 at 35.5 million visits. This next slide breaks down that annual number into quarters, but shows actual number of people just counting them one time. We can see we're getting closer to 2019 numbers during some quarters of the year. In particular, the second year, which is typically the strongest. I'm sure it's probably because of Derby. In 2019, with almost 26,000 people, and in the second quarter of 2023 at 23,500 people. And then, interestingly, when you look at unique visits to downtown, that shape and trend line change and shoots way up from an average of approximately 3,100 people per day in the best quarter of 2019 to 4,500 people per day in the last quarter of 2023. And this is what we've been saying for a while, that tourism is not only as good as pre-COVID, but better. And I believe it's probably and I think it's because of bourbon. Thank you. We also wanted to take a look at which days of the week we were seeing more people, looking at average visits per weekday. This also shows all visits, including repeat visits by the same person. We were expecting to see a peak in the middle of the week because we know that's when more employees are in the office. And while you can see employees do make a strong showing, it's Wednesdays through Fridays that seem to be the most populous days in downtown, with more visitors during those days. Comparing the first graph of 2019 to the second one in 23, same shape, same lines, just less people. A high of 147,000 people on Fridays in 2019 compared to about 115,000 people on Fridays in 2023, which incidentally is about the same number less of employees in downtown. Lastly, the tax revenues that are generated in downtown are the largest total taxes generated by any neighborhood in our city. Between property taxes, net profit taxes, occupational taxes, and sales taxes, revenues amount to nearly $150 million generated out of downtown. The good news is that most of this tax revenue helps to pay for metro services all across our city. This is what we mean when we say you need to have a strong downtown to have a strong city. So as Mayor Greenberg so eloquently stated, downtown is critically important for this region, for the city, region, and state. All of these things that I have talked about happen together in only one place. This is true for downtowns all across the world. Every downtown is significant because it's the one neighborhood where you have the highest concentration of density and diversity of uses, offices, cultural attractions, tourism, and residents that makes downtown the destination people want to visit when they're coming from other cities, states, and countries. If you go back 30-ish years ago, again, downtown was pretty much a pure central business district with not much going on after 5:30 p.m. Starting in the 90s, Louisville Slugger Museum came back across the river from southern Indiana. The convention center expanded. A lot more cultural attractions were developed and hotels started opening. And then Louisville Slugger Field opened. The arena opened. More concerts started making stops here. And we got a few new concert venues and a new sports venue. Remember what I said about the long game. And nearby, Whiskey Row got a second life. And I'll say it again, bourbon. I've said it a lot since COVID, thank goodness for bourbon. So while it's clear that on average, tourism is outpacing office in terms of numbers of people in downtown, and downtown indeed is no longer just a central business district, I want to be very clear. Our office center is still very crucial to the health of downtown because it's that third leg of the stool that we need for density and diversity of uses, and we need to have those varied uses and people on the street at different times of the day. Additionally, companies, you guys, still look to have downtown addresses because of how you want to represent yourselves regionally and nationally, and because it allows your employees to walk out the front door and find something to do, and usually with coworkers, which is super good for your office culture. We want to have people walking around our city 7 days a week, 18 to 24 hours a day. I admit, I do like to see the glass as half full and try to put on those rose-colored glasses as often as I can. But as the mayor mentioned, we all know that downtown has some challenges. After people went home in 2020 and were able to stay there for a couple of years, it's been a challenge to bring them back. I can sing and dance, and I have, all day long, about why I think we should all be back in the office. And it's not just because I want people walking around downtown, which I obviously do, but I believe more widely that as a society we've had the increasing freedom to make decisions that are good for us as individuals and not necessarily think about what is better for our community, and I'm not sure that's been a great thing. I've heard concern from employers and employees about our social service network and safety net more than anything else. We know there are gaps in the mental health services system, and due to the many and various needs of this population, this is an extremely complex issue. Perception is reality, and we have some work to do as a community to help our people most in need. But again, as the mayor said, there are some things that are happening. The city announced an expansion of the deflection program. Volunteers of America was named the operator of the community care campus, and we expanded our ambassador program to help increase that visibility of uniformed people on the street. And looking forward, we're hopeful that we can add more police officers dedicated to downtown, and that the General Assembly will come through for some much-needed funding. These are things that must be addressed as we look toward the longer vision of our 10-year strategy. Louisville Downtown Partnership is not solely responsible for any of these, but we are engaged, and there are ways that you can help too. I've seen the news media improve their reporting of events and news, but the bad news always gets replayed and hyped up more. And it's what some people believe is happening all the time. For those of us in this room, we know that's not the case, and I think it's incumbent upon each of us to help spread the positive and truthful news. In the meanwhile, the staff at LDP and our partners are continually working on activations, placemaking, and beautification, and working with the mayor and his administration on new financial tools and policy to help push investment and economic development activity where it's needed. As a way to help focus our work and help engage the private sector, our organization develops a master plan or strategy every 10 years to outline a vision of what this community wants our downtown to look and feel like, what we should do in the next 10 years to get closer to that vision. We spent a large part of 2023 holding public meetings, expert panels, focus groups, and many, many, many one-on-one stakeholder meetings, gathering input and ideas. Now is our time in downtown. I'm not alone in this sentiment because all of you are here, I know, and the many people who showed up for this process over the last year. Through this strategy, we want to inspire big thinking and bold moves, such as the mayor outlined, that will help the non-believers see the truth and help nudge the reticent to help step forward and give downtown a try. And the good news is we know there are believers, like Republic Bank, Forvis, and Sterling Thompson moved their offices downtown from the suburbs. Szymanski and Harding, Stoll Keenan and Ogden, and others relocated office buildings, but as they did so, recommitted to being in downtown. Baird invested $20 million in their office space to double down on downtown and why it's good for their company and the region. New hoteliers have arrived in downtown by the handful. And we have new retailers, those who really took the brunt through COVID, who are opening up new storefronts in downtown. We also have some housing developments in the works, which are much needed catalysts to increase pedestrian activity and therefore economic vitality. Projects such as Painters Row in Portland, which just got the ribbon cut this week, LDG's former Greyhound and Brown Brothers Cadillac sites, and I know they're in the room. And new student housing at 2nd and Broadway and redevelopment of the Starks building will bring renewed energy to those areas. But we need more. This kind of dedication, commitment, and belief in downtown is what keeps us all going. These are the sorts of decisions we need to help make possible and help drive people to. It really was the sort of vision we had as we embarked upon the 10-year downtown strategy to call for long-term projects and improvements that will help drive the momentum and renewed growth and activity. To introduce our video presentation of the 2024 Downtown Strategy, please help me welcome CEO and Chairman of Stockyards Bank, as well as our Board Chair for Downtown Development Corporation, Jay Hillebrand.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Rebecca. You throw a great luncheon. It's been 5 years since we've had the State of the Downtown. It's great to see everybody here. Great crowd. Rebecca and I want to thank our consultants, City Visions Associates, and Barry Alberts for his tireless work over the last year, and our funders, Louisville Metro Government, James Graham Brown Foundation, and the Geens Foundation for making this work and strategy possible. It takes a lot of time and a lot of dollars. Doing a report like this every 10 years is extremely important because things change, as we know. We were, in a sense, given the gift of timing, coming due as we were post-COVID, obviously, and seeing the impacts of remote work and working through, as a city, how we make our downtown more welcoming and accessible to all. And yes, that includes a safe downtown. We've heard you. The mayor and Metro government has heard you. And without safety, we know we won't have a vibrant downtown. So big thanks to LMPD, Mayor and your administration, and the ambassadors, as mentioned earlier, for that continuous, tireless work to make us all feel good. This last weekend, I didn't think a lot going on downtown Louisville, a game or anything at Waterfront Park. But I came down for dinner and I was amazed before and after, no parking, people all over the streets. Come back. If you're one of those that are just believing sometimes what you hear, the negative news, or you've got negative Nelly friends, stop listening and come downtown. Enjoy what we have. Let me just say, because I'm a little uncomfortable up here. Mayor, you could have called me this morning and said we're wearing T-shirts. At the bank this morning, everybody thought we were acquiring another bank or something, or we had a board meeting. I'm in a tie. It is nice to know that after a year of input and meetings and strategy development, some of the things that we have put into this plan are already happening. I would like those that are on the board of the Downtown Development Corporation, LDMD, Stan Moore, the chair there, to stand, please, and be recognized for all the hours and money that you have put into this planning process. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you. It's a testament to the shared vision of this community and the confidence that businesses, developers, and investors have in downtown. And projects that you'll see in the report and video coming up are already starting to happen, such as the redevelopment of 3 major city-owned sites in key areas of downtown, the conversion of one-way streets into two-way streets and redesigning them to become more pedestrian-friendly. The major redesign of the Belvedere, as the mayor mentioned. Y'all remember the Belvedere? Awesome. I'm so happy that that's coming back into fold. A reimagining of 4th and 5th Streets as our north-south spine that culminate at the Belvedere. Public realm improvements such as the Bark Park, city spots, new lighting in the I-65 underpasses, and expanding the number of banners and flower pots around the city, and renovations and expansion at JCTC and a growing University of Louisville presence, and 2 presidents who know the importance of a downtown campus. But there's more to be done, and we want to see your desires and how you might be able to contribute in this vision of downtown too. So before we roll the video, please use your voice to get the word out about our vibrant and growing. You saw the numbers, people coming back downtown. Please help our small businesses, right? Let's fill the arena. We'll fill it again next. I couldn't help it. Do we have a coach yet? Wow. Sorry, I had to go there. Also, as no surprise to you all, we need your dollars. We have a Friends of Downtown program that you can go to, the Louisville Downtown Partnership, and for whatever you could afford to help us out, continue to invest in the Ambassadors Program, which means so much as visitors come here and go and spread the word elsewhere to come visit Louisville, Kentucky. So do everything you can to help us out, and we greatly appreciate your investment here today by attending. Let's roll the video.
In my view, downtown should be the most vibrant, authentic, unique, creative, clean, green, energetic neighborhood in our entire city. Downtown Louisville is the heart of Louisville, which in turn is the economic engine of our state.
We are at a critical time in our downtown.
I am Rebecca Fleischaker. I'm Executive Director of Louisville Downtown Partnership. We are here for a public meeting for the downtown strategy, a 10-year plan to look at downtown, and this really is to hear from people what they want to see, what they don't want to see.
We want to make sure that we're addressing the things that people feel are in the best interest long-term of the heart of our metro Louisville region. People feel, or at least until the pandemic hit, there was a great sense of momentum.
Downtown Louisville did have momentum. The revitalization of certain downtown districts, a new Slugger Field, and the acclaimed reclamation of the Louisville waterfront. But world events intervened. A global pandemic and the ensuing social justice demonstrations in downtown Louisville made progress stall. And now, a couple years post-pandemic, there is a new paradigm for downtown. With all this input, we want to focus on the things that we know will bring people downtown.
So when we think about our economic development strategy, we absolutely are talking about downtown and how we invest in downtown and revitalize downtown and create downtown not just as a place to do business, but a place to live, a place to come and have fun, a place to visit.
An exciting set of initiatives started to emerge. We've grouped them into 3 categories to help us prioritize what will make a thriving downtown. Activate downtown in each of its distinct districts with activity on a 24/7 basis, not just 9 to 5. Increase the number of people downtown, creating downtown neighborhoods with a wider range of housing styles and price points. Reimagining the public realm, ensuring that downtown is a place people want to be. Healthy downtowns really need activation and programming.
Downtowns are the heart, the soul, the center of American urban areas. And I want Louisville to be the #1 creative destination for interesting people in any kind of artistic or cultural discipline. The downtown is always flourishing and always changing and always interesting, not only for people that are living there, but for people that are visiting, both from the Louisville area coming downtown and from the rest of the world coming to Louisville.
If you're staying at the Marriott, the Omni, the Galt House, walk out of your hotel and there's distillery experiences right there. You've got the Ali Center, you got the Slugger Museum, you have Frazier. From our end with meetings, conventions, and events at the convention center, they love the fact that they can walk out of that building and walk to attractions.
Great downtowns usually have a strong presence by a strong university. The University of Louisville has a strong and growing presence in downtown Louisville. So it's so important to be able to have that level of engagement with downtown in terms of cultural engagement, economic engagement, dealing with socioeconomic challenges that we might have, but as well as bringing the vibrancy of a university campus to the downtown.
The fact that there is an education corridor is something that many people don't recognize, and the fact that there are 6 schools right along this area, if you include the Brown School, JCTC, Francis Parker, Spalding University, Presentation, and Central High School, we're all right here within blocks of Broadway. I think having a residential core is the key to revitalizing the city and the city coming back to life as it was before COVID.
In order to have a strong downtown, you really do need to have strong adjacent neighborhoods. And we are on the south side of Broadway right now with a lot of redevelopment opportunities, especially for residential conversions. Right now we've got the Hayburn Building, which is a gorgeous historic building, eligible for historic tax credits. We want to be able to support and encourage more incentives that make this kind of redevelopment possible.
A lot of people don't see downtown as a neighborhood, but we are. And so because we are a neighborhood, we deserve those same amenities. We deserve a nice public market, parks, places for people to walk around, hang out, sit outside. All of these things are important for a community to grow, to retain its residents, and to stay connected to each other.
Louisville is really lucky that we still have a lot of our older mid-rise historic buildings in place. They were built to be office buildings, and that probably is not the highest and best use at this point. How can we recreate and incent developers to make residential units out of these beautiful buildings? We're standing in the middle of what is affectionately known as the Mud Lot, a full square block on the western side of downtown. This is one of 3 properties that Mayor Greenberg has put out for an opportunity for redevelopment. For every strong residential neighborhood, you want to have residential services and amenities. And behind us, we are standing at the northern edge of Sobro. And we want to have this connection between downtown that creates that strong residential neighborhood.
So our administration is also focused on ensuring that downtown is a safe neighborhood.
If I go to Nulu, I know that there's at least 10 places you can go to. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to walk through those dead zones.
I think one of the issues that you talked about when you're on certain parts of Market Street, you can walk 2-3 blocks and it's just surface level parking before you hit the next business.
We have some work to do, but downtown is my home. And this is a place that we all care about deeply because we want it to succeed. We want it to be beautiful. We want it to be attractive. We want it to be the kind of place that Louisvillians all feel like they own, that this is a place that belongs to all of us.
Healthy downtowns have opportunities just to hang out, and we are creating a new program called City Spots where you can do just that. We're gonna be painting the ground at 5th and Jefferson with tables, umbrellas, flowers, just a beautiful setting where you wanna stop and hang out with a friend, get a cup of coffee, maybe have a meeting or think about what you're gonna do for the evening.
Our downtown public spaces can and should absolutely be reimagined. Those spaces, many of those spaces were created in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, 80s, and those spaces need to be reimagined to be more welcoming and have the modern amenities that people want to see when they come into downtowns. When we think about our streets, what's kind of the best example of what a comfortable street downtown is, you really think about West Main Street from 5th to 9th Street and that whole stretch with the wide sidewalks and the public art, street trees. Those are the things that pedestrians are looking for as they walk around our downtown.
We have opportunity for improvement and growth in the area between 4th and 7th Streets, where you are closest to a very central part of our downtown, but you don't have access to the river.
Our streets have definitely been prioritized for cars. I'm sure anybody that's been to downtown Louisville is very familiar with the one-way street pattern. Repositioning our streets to be people prioritized versus vehicle prioritized is going to be important going forward.
We need to think about our parks, plazas, and open spaces downtown as a coordinated network of interesting and stimulating places to be, and have that network connect to a reimagined Belvedere and better connections to the river and waterfront park, both the existing park and the exciting new Phase 4 west of 10th Street.
I'm so excited about beginning the master planning process for a new and reimagined Belvedere. I think it is going to be a crown jewel of our downtown.
The park is constantly evolving and always changing and never finished. I'm very excited about the extension of River Road westward that will really help to connect downtown and the area west of 9th Street. It'll create a seamless vehicular and pedestrian connection.
You know, these neighborhoods, Russell, Portland, other neighborhoods that are adjacent to Waterfront Park will be destination places for children to go to. And you want it to be walkable. You want it to be safe for them. That's why Reimagine 9th Street is so important, to make sure that it's a safe, walkable pathway to connect people to the neighborhoods.
We are standing on site of the westward expansion of Waterfront Park, Phase 4, in the neighborhood of called Shippingport. It's where downtown and Russell and Portland come together. Tons of very cool redevelopment opportunities here, also on the banks of the Ohio River. So residents from all over the city can come together, and it's a great way for downtown to be connected.
Downtown is connected, and for it to be successful, we have to build in corridors and transit and things that connect people into the central business district more holistically.
35, 40 years ago, the idea of Waterfront Park was highly aspirational. It was incredibly visionary. There was a certain expectation of excellence. We really need to demand that same level of excellence for our downtown.
We have this amazing opportunity to take our downtown to the next level and tell our unique story to the world.
There's a lot of energy right now from the private community, businesses like Stockyards, myself personally getting involved, saying, you know what, I'm gonna be part of this. I wanna make a difference for 10 years from now.
This is a moment to step up, and I think people will find that the investment they make in downtown is going to be very richly rewarded.
We have challenges that people are working on every day, but we also have a lot of opportunity. We have a new mayor who's clearly committed to a vibrant downtown, and we want, through this strategy, to reposition downtown and embrace a new paradigm for what it means to our community and our region.
Thank you. I need to give a special thanks to City Visions Associates for putting this together and 180 Video Productions for our video. I hope you're as excited as I am. And I hope you see some shared vision in our future for downtown. An executive summary is at your place and yours to take. The full report is on our website. I hope you go there to take a look at it too. Our organization and our board members will be working with the mayor's office and the private sector to dig into these projects and start implementation. And this is your formal invitation to join the fun. Earlier, I thanked the sponsors for today's luncheon, but I also want to share with you the many donors to Louisville Downtown Partnership, both corporate and individual, that allow us to do the work we do every day. We could not do all that we do without you. And if you received my blog, you've heard me say this, and you should go actually go get my blog. You've heard me say this a million times. You are what creates vibrancy. You make our events fun, and you make our streets look cool. And you also are the reason why we create the flower pots, the colorful street banners, the city spots, the Bark Park, Baird Urban Sports Park, Food Truck Wednesdays, downtown drive-ins, special lighting projects, the night markets, and a few new events coming this year. We literally just could not do some of these projects without your generous donations. And on behalf of LDP staff, I want to thank you because I just want to thank our friends of downtown and corporate donors because we couldn't do it. If you'd like your name to be on this list, you all have flyers on the table. I'm not going to repeat what Jay said, but I know you care because you're here. So if you want a t-shirt and look cool like the mayor, check us out. If you think your company would be interested in sponsoring an event, or if you want to be a financial donor to help downtown keep improving, please see me after this event. I will never turn that meeting down. My other request of each of you is simple. Bring a friend downtown. Have that friend bring a friend. Then say something publicly about your positive, amazing experience. And do it again. And have your friend do it again. And keep doing it. It really does take all of us. Our downtown will be thriving and its strongest when we understand that we are all in it together. That not only do we need to show up for each other because we're social beings, but that our community isn't truly a community unless we're all playing a role. So find a way to contribute, to show up, and to play a part. I'm going to leave you with a couple quotes, and I really want to thank Leadership Louisville for highlighting this one by Plato, who said, "This city is what it is because our citizens are what they are." This one rubs both ways, so we need to pay attention. And then one for the road that's just a little bit more modern from our former US President, John F. Kennedy, but humor me as I tweaked it just a little. Ask not what your downtown can do for you. Ask what you can do for your downtown. Can't wait to see you guys on the streets. Happy spring. Thank you so much for coming.